Welcome back to another episode of the Rec Center podcast. My name is Kenny Edwards from the great Oakland High School, joined here with my co-host Lorenzo Lolo Parham from Oakland Technical High. What's going on, Lo?
Hey, I'm doing good, Ken, man. Very excited, man. I'm excited to bring this next guest on, man. When we talk about OAL basketball, man, we cannot talk Oakland history without talking about our next guest right here, man. He probably hit one of the biggest shots in OAL history, if not NorCal history, man.
No doubt.
Can't wait to hear this story and his background with this guy, man. Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Coach Frank Knight, man. Frank, how you doing?
What's up, you guys, man? Thanks for having me on, man. You know, I love to get to chop up the old school hoop, you know, with some Oakland cats. I always love it,
man. Absolutely.
Definitely, Frank. Definitely, Frank. So I was a freshman back then when you were playing your senior year, but I didn't go to Fremont back then. You know, Fremont started at the 10th grade.
Yeah.
So I was a 9th grader, but I played JV football.
Okay.
So I was at the basketball games. James Thompson, JT, that was my mentor, man.
My God,
touchdown Thompson. So I wanted to be like JT. Like I was a freshman, it was my first year ever playing football, and JT was the guy. So I wanted to be like JT. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna go study JT football. If he playing basketball, I gotta go watch him play basketball. And y'all had a really deep team, and then there's you. I'm studying JT. And the guy on the court is the guard, Frank Knight, man. So just break down for us, man. We know we talking about your senior year, man, but what was all 4 of them years like in high school when you first got there?
Oh man, I did 3 years at Fremont. My first year I was at St. Mary's in Berkeley, and that didn't work out the way I wanted it to work out. But anyway, I ended up at Fremont, man. I remember my freshman year is when I was at St. Mary's High School, and we lost to Jason Kidd and them in the first round of the playoffs, the NCS playoffs. I remember going to the NorCal that year and watching Fremont play against Jason Kidd in the NorCal finals, man. And I never forget, man, Bobby Smith put on a show, man. And he was going toe-to-toe with Jason. Wow. And then, you know, I mean, it was just the whole, you know, I just loved it. I'm like, you know what? That's what I'm trying to do. You know, they had Lester Jenkins. They had a really, really good team. And I'm like, you know, that's where I kind of want to be. So that next year, I ended up there, man. And it was crazy because that was like the first time I've been to public school, man. And I knew a lot of the cats from hoop and stuff and sports. But that was the first time I was in an Oakland public school. So that was just crazy off the top.
Culture shock. Culture shock.
Pure culture shock.
Pure culture shock, man.
And as y'all know, you know, when you play sports, you know, they're going to give you a pass. You know, you're part of the community.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They love you and everything. But, man, just getting brought into that, I was like, this is absolutely – I'm like, wow, okay, all right, you know.
Yeah,
and
welcome.
So my best friends are from there. So, you know.
So when you got to Fremont, what year did Calvin Criddle transfer in? Did he transfer in with you, or did he come later?
He came later, man. He came his senior year, man. When I first got there, Kareem Davis was there, and Keith Livers and those guys, and Lamont Brown. I was a sophomore, and they were really, really good. We were pretty good, but Mac was loaded then. Mac was just ridiculous at that point.
They talk about that Mac. What we talking? 93 now. 93, right?
Yeah, 92, 93. Yeah, Stamps.
26-1.
Yeah, Stamps and Keller Reynolds and Renard and Bird. And it was ridiculous, though. They ended up losing the De La Salle in the NorCal finals that year. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, and they were the best. They was my sophomore year, they was the best team. They were just hands down blowing everybody out. But kind of when they left, it was kind of like the torch got passed to us. So, you know, we had Robert Grissom at that time. Grissom in 94 was a Northern California Player of the Year.
So his junior year, Rob Grissom was Northern California Player of the Year, junior year?
Yeah, Grissom was a monster in 94.
Monster.
Grissom was bringing all the recruiters.
Oh, wow. Hey, I remember Grissom, man, playing, man. I remember, like, hey, y'all had a deep squad, Frank. Y'all had a deep team.
Crazy thing, though, in my 3 years at Fremont, I think I counted it. It was probably about 12 Division I players in multiple sports. as we went through. You know, a lot of them, like JT, man, went to junior college first, but ended up playing D1 football. But it was ridiculous talent, man, all over there, though, everywhere.
Hey, how did Coach Clint deal with all of them different personalities, man? Because I know you got Lou Fisher on the team who's about to go sign a baseball contract. JT who's these guys was all world in their sports, right?
That's what I'm saying.
How did Frank balance that out with all these personalities you guys got? Then you bring in Zarek Payton and ZP come with a whole nother personality, right? How did Clint balance that out?
1995 was a reality show. If we had cameras following us that year, we'd have made some money. I mean, you know, it was just because of the personalities, and then Coach Clint's already crazy, and then you got all those personalities. I mean, you know, Lou Fisher sitting on the bench. Imagine this, Lou Fisher sitting on the bench, like he's not even really playing, and he already got an agent. You know what I mean? He's already drafted. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just like, but he's just playing because all his partners is playing. You know what I mean? He wanted to have fun last time he was gonna play and stuff. But just all those personalities were great. And like Zarek and Calvin Criddle had transferred that year. This is 95, and Jermaine Wilson had transferred 95, and I mean we were just super loaded. But Clint is a nut. Clint is the craziest coach I have ever. He's crazy. I can't. It's nothing else I can explain.
Give us a story that details how crazy he was.
Oh man!
Not the Larry Guest story. You want Larry to tell his own? You want Larry to tell his own story?
Yeah, they got a nicer version of Clint. I think Clint got nicer as he went because he realized how crazy he was. But I mean, we would run. I mean, part of our conditioning every day was to run from Fremont to Merritt. So we just run all the way up High Street. Just keep going until you can't go no more.
It worked.
And we would run hard. Hey, and the crazy is we running down High Street though. Like, so you're gonna pass several dope spots though while you're running. right. And the crazy thing is they would tell on us if we wasn't running though. And that's the good thing about the community, you know. When Clint would come back up, you know, Frank and them ain't running. Or, you know, Zarek and them try to get a ride or something, you know, because they was rooting for us too. But yeah, Clint would have us run there. I mean, he would take us to up to Joaquin Miller Trail and just tell us to run. And we don't even know where we're going. He's like, just keep making rights. every time you get to a fork in the road, make a right. You come right back to the beginning. You know, he used to have us doing all kind of. We used to do this thing called slant toes torture. Oh, it was so much running and slide. People was throwing up and quitting and stuff. It was just, doing duck walks and stuff. All this stuff is illegal right now. Like if I did this stuff now, I get fired. You know. But he was very, very tough. You know, and he got brought up by a tough coach. You know, he played for Shigamatsu at Casamont. So, you know, he hit us with all that old school stuff with craziness on top of it.
Right.
But when you in it, like I quit like 2 or 3 times in my head during the whole time I was there. Everybody quit because Clint will take you there. He'll take you all the way to the edge. He do it on purpose. He take you all the way to the edge to see, you know, to see where you are. And at the time, you know, you're like, dude, crazy. I'm about to quit. I can't play for dude. But when you look back on it, you be like, that's what you needed right there. Clint was exactly what we all need. It's the only way he'd have been able to keep that group together was with that craziness.
So Frank, let me ask you this, right? Going into your senior year, 1995, Calvin Criddle comes in. Robert Grissom is the player of the year before. And you going into your senior year with all these guys. Yeah. What was the expectations that very first day of practice and the hype behind it?
It wasn't even before that. I don't know if you guys remember, in 94, we lost in the NorCal finals to Jesuit. And then they went on and played Crenshaw in the championship. And we had beat Jesuit earlier that year, the same year. So we go into the NorCal finals like, we got this. We cool. We already done beat Jesuit. You know, we're going to take care of business. So we kind of went in not even paying attention to Jesuit, overlooking them and getting focused on Crenshaw, you know, and then we end up losing. So from that loss, when we lost to Jesuit that day in the locker room, we was like, you know what, we're going to come back here. We're for sure getting to the state championship next year. It wasn't even a question. And then when Calvin transferred, it was automatic. You know what I mean? He was a McDonald's All-American 1,600, top 1,600 players in the country. So you had him with Grissom and with me, and we had Lefty. one of the coldest Mexicans to ever pick up a basketball.
Lefty, number 4.
Charles Austin, who jumped out the gym. We just had a really, really good. And the crazy thing is that James Thompson was like 6th or 7th man, and he could have won all league if he went anywhere else. I mean, he'll get you 10, 11 points, a couple rebounds every game.
So that season, your senior season,
yeah.
Who was y'all first loss against, and was that a wake-up call for us to hey, pick this up?
We went to some national tournaments that year, though, because Clinton knew he was loaded. So we went out and traveled. So we went down to Vegas to the big tournament they had in Vegas, and we played Mike Bibby, and then we beat Shadow Mountain. Paul Pearson was there. We ended up losing to Dunbar from DC. Mm-hmm. And then they end up getting to the championship and losing. But that tournament kind of opened up our eyes. We were like, okay, that's some raw cat. Paul Pierce was down there. We knew Paul from back in the day, but Paul was killing, and and Shea was killing. It was a bunch of really, really good teams down there. So when we lost there, we were like, okay, we could be good, but the goal was always to get to the state championship. So we came back home and ran through everybody. We ended up losing to Mac, though. The crazy thing is, in the OAL playoffs, in the championship game, we lost to Mac. But back then, you'd have to beat the outright champion twice.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So they beat us the first night. Shea went to work that game, man. And Dez went to work. And then the second night, we ended up taking care of business and winning it. And then there was no getting in front of us. We knew we was going to run through that. We were kind of thinking that we may end up playing against Balboa. Balboa had a really, really good team that year.
They were deep, man. They had who they had on that team? Alfonso.
They had winners. They had Big D. They had a squad. They had a squad. And they end up losing. They end up losing in the semifinals to Oak Grove or something in a huge upset. And then we blasted Oak Grove in the NorCal finals. So then we got to the state, then it was state championship time. So we was juiced and we was ready to rock and roll.
So going into that state, man, did y'all played against super sophomore sensation, Shea Cotton. Did you guys know who he was before that game?
Hell yeah, everybody in America, we all knew him. When we was playing AAU basketball and going down to LA to those little tournaments back in the day when we were playing for the Rebel, actually it was probably Bushrod at that point. We were playing for Bushrod or the Rebels. I don't know if it became the Rebels at that point, but we were down in LA, and I think we were in the 6th or 7th grade, and Lil Howard, who was coaching one of the teams, he grabbed Melvin. He's like, hey, man, we want to go back to the gym, man. Southern California got a kid that's in the 6th grade that's dunking. And we all go to the game, and lo and behold, this dude is out here dunking on cats though in the 6th grade, and he a lefty. At that point, he's about 6'4", 6'5", 6'4", maybe 6'3", 6'4". We're like, who is that? And at that point, the legend just blew up though. He was in the Sports Illustrated and stuff, so everybody knew who he was. The rest of the team was raw too though. They had like 3 other Division I hoopers on that team though. So,
So that was a really stacked matchup both ways, right? So
nobody gave us no respect though. Nobody gave us no respect. That's why we was really like we knew we could beat them. We was like we can play with them. Everybody was like, they got the cat that's in ESPN and they from LA, and LA have been whooping Northern California in state championships all before that. You know what I mean? And we was like, man, we can beat them. If we put what we got together, we could beat them. So we go out. I never forget. We ran out the tunnel, man, before the game started. We ran out the tunnel, and it's really no preparing for a state title, but this was crazy. This is at the old Coliseum. It's only like 15,000 seats. I never forget. We ran onto the court. You could see the play-by-play and the color dude. You see the TVs and stuff because it was one of the, I think the 2nd or 3rd state championship that they played on TV all throughout the state, and it was sold out by the time we ran out there. It was crazy. I'm like, damn, it's like 15,000 cats here, though. This is crazy.
So you guys sold out the Coliseum?
We sold out and when the Warriors couldn't go. That's how crazy it was. But, but Modern Day traveled hella heavy. Modern Day brought everybody up. You know what I mean? And then we was the Oakland kids. So everybody was coming to root for us. You know what I mean? So all the barbershops and restaurants, everything shut down. Everybody was there. Or watching it on TV,
You guys ran out there. You guys had them Sean Kemp shoes on. Back then, the Sean Kemps was the ugliest shoes. I had them on.
They was hecka ugly.
They made you dizzy on the court. Gave you advantage watching them. Got dizzy watching the shoes, and then you come out there down by a lot of points going into this fourth quarter. This is when big shot Frank comes in that fourth quarter. What you score? 16 in the fourth, Frank?
I think I ended up with 20 at the end. It was 20 in the fourth quarter. I think I had like 8 before that, or 7 points before that, or something like that. But that was the worst half we'd ever played. Though, if y'all watched the game, the first half was the worst half basketball we'd ever played. I think we shot 16% from the field. That's crazy.
Was that you or was that them?
A little bit of both. I mean, it was a lot of people there. You know what I mean? And, it was the big stage. And, sometimes the big stage rattle you for a minute until you can kind of get yourself under control. And they were good. And we just missed some shots early, some shots we would normally get, like, layups, like Calvin and Grissom. Like, we were having a hard time doing what we normally do. You know what I mean? And we couldn't really press you and turn you over on that big old floor, especially because Shane was like 6'5" and could look over all them traps and stuff. So it was a little different, a little different game plan. But in the second half, we got together, man. I never forget, we got together at halftime, man. Everybody was like, dude, this is our last game we're about to ever play ever together, man. This group, though. This is the last time this group is all going – because, like I said, Lou is going to be playing pro. James is going to be playing football, and Calvin's going to end up in Nevada Reno. You know what I mean? And we was like, we know this is going to be the last time we all going to be together, man. Let's just go out there and throw everything out there, man. And we like, let's go. And, man, shit, the basket got big for me, man. It was on.
What's going through your mind, your body? Like, state championship, you've probably been dreaming about this your whole life, and you now are just going off.
I made a couple shots, the first couple shots in the third quarter. I made a couple shots in the third quarter, and I'm like, okay, that felt good. I can see it in my mind. Like, that felt good. The rhythm is good and stuff like that. But in the fourth quarter, I think Jermaine found me a couple times on this little quick seat play we run that Click got. And I had a couple, elbow jumpers a little bit higher than the elbow that went in. And I think I remember telling him, I'm like, blood, that basket hella big right now, man. He's like, I know, I'm seeing, I know. I'm like, all right. And it just, it's one of them things where you kind of black out, man. The basket was just huge. Everything I threw up went in. It just was that easy.
So Frank, then you hit this big shot that's heard throughout California, because even the Southern California news outlets was talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
Northern California news outlets talk about it. How did things change for you after that shot and all of the interviews you did after that? How did things change recruiting-wise for you after that?
It was ridiculous. I mean, it was really ridiculous. It changed, just for me and for the guys I played with and the people after us. Like, a lot of cats wasn't getting recruited nationally from Oakland at that point. You know what I mean? Like, North Carolina wasn't coming to Oakland to get kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it was one of the things where LA was the Mecca in California for hoop players. So after that game, we kind of proved and showed a lot of people that we could play just as good as them. A bunch of cats we got some talent up here. So my recruiting took off, but I remember, Calvin got more calls and Grissom got more calls after that. And then Fremont became the spot to go to for hoop, though. Like that, at that point, and for the next 4 or 5 years, they went on a tear, ended up winning the state championship in '99. And, it was one of them things where, because it wasn't no internet and it wasn't like going viral or anything like that, that game, the fact that it was televised all throughout the state, and people had heard about it outside the state, they started to come to Oakland and look for guys, man. So that was awesome. I wouldn't have went to St. Mary. Without that game, I probably wouldn't have went to St. Mary. So
look, check this out. So one thing you hitting that shot to me is like the Loma Prieta earthquake. Everybody knows where they were at that time. So I'm laying on the living room floor, me and Pops, we watching the game, and you hit the shot. And all I remember to this day is the Frank Knight high step around the court. So I said, look, I never forgot that. So when we won the OEL in 2000, I did which ain't the state championship, but for us,
Right.
I did my Frank Knight high step around the floor.
Yeah.
And hung on the rim. I don't remember who it was that did that, but you was high stepping, huffing and puffing, and somebody on the team.
Oh, you know who it was. It was Eric Payton. Who else was it?
Them the two things I remember: the high step and somebody jumped on the rim acting crazy.
Eric went grabbed on the rim. That's my guy ZP.
ZP.
Yeah, I mean that.
ZP.
A lot of people were. They like, do that shot. That shot I remember. And whatever. And I'm like, dude. The thing is that we played a good fourth quarter, a better third quarter. It was just that opportunity was there and it happened. I mean, like I said, I remember leaving looking back on, I think I ran around because I thought people said I thought we won it, but the only thing I remember is when we left the huddle, Clint was like, we got to get a 3. We can't get a 2. If we get a 2, we lose. We got to get a 3. So all I calculated in my mind was if we get a 3, we win. You know what I mean? So I was definitely shooting 3. I mean, there was no question that I was going to shoot a 3. I just had to get close enough that I could get my shot off. And then I shot it, and when it went in, I'm like, dang, that was the 3 we needed. I'm like, it's over, right? So I started to run around. I actually jumped on the scores table. A lot of people know I ran on the scores table a little bit, and then I circled around by the modern day bench, and they didn't look devastated like I thought they would look. So I'm like, oh, it's just tied. So let me get back to my bench, man. So I turned around, get back to the bench, and I'm like, man, now we got action.
Man had a J.R. Smith moment.
Yeah, I did. I had a J.R. Smith moment. It happened. Hey, but it went in. And people say, did you call bank? Nah, hell no, I didn't call bank. I just pulled up and, tried to square my feet and, and shoot it like I always shot it. It banked, I think, because I was moving forward. When I shot it, I was still moving forward. You know what I mean? I had made the last 6 or 7 shots and didn't even hit the rim after that. So I was feeling it. I was in the zone, but, I was moving forward. It hit the backboard and went in.
So Frank, what you guys did, that group you came through with, y'all built Fremont into a powerhouse, right? So the things go on, you guys built it to a powerhouse, and moving forward, you got the 96 team, they come in, 96 team come in, 97 team, really, really dope team, 98 team, which possibly could have won in one state as well. Then you get 99 team actually win a state at Fremont. So you guys built Fremont into this powerhouse. As you gone away at St. Mary's, how much did you look back at that Fremont dynasty that they were building and revelating and taking a part in that?
A lot of people don't know. Clint asked me to come speak before the state championship game in the 99 game. So I went down there with me and my pops. We drove down there, and I gave my pep talk before the game started against the Modern Day. We were playing Modern Day. It was the same kind of thing. Clint was like, man, I need you to come talk to the kids before the game. So I went down there. And, as y'all know, man, where you go to school, that means something, man. So it's always going to be Fremont, just like it's always Ohio or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is, and I stay connected, even to this today with Scott in the program now. And, the Tigers, we was the best basketball program in the 90s. I argue with people all the time about that. From 1990 to 1999, we had a stronghold on that, except that 1 year Mac went great.
Yeah, Mac won it in 98. In 98, Mac had it. So let me back you up, Frank. So you transfer in from St. Mary's.
Yeah.
Coming from St. Mary's, you come into the heavily stacked OAL. What was it like your first time playing at the infamous OAL Jamboree?
The Jamboree is lovely, man. It was lovely. It was great. Back old school, they used to have it at the Henry J. My goodness. And they used to split the teams up, East and North or East and West. I don't know why they would do that. And, the cheerleaders would have a little cheer battle in between the games and stuff.
Those went down.
Oh, yeah. It was crazy, though. I mean, I never forget. I think Skyline's cheerleaders did came stand in the rain. They had umbrellas and opened them up. They had glitter coming out of them and stuff. I'm like, oh, yeah, they raw. They saucy. And then, of course, the infamous fights in the hallways and the tunnels up there at the Henry J and stuff because of the games and stuff. But just the competition. Oakland, like I tell people, man, at that time, man, the OAL basketball, it's not the same because of gentrification and stuff now, people moving, but every team had guys, man, had really, really good guys. And the crazy thing is some of the guys who didn't even make it was really, really good, though. Michael Franklin was a monster, man.
I hear that name all the time.
Oh my goodness, dude. Oh, and it's a bunch of them. You know, cast it. You know, we don't know because they didn't play or they didn't, take care of grades or whatever, or they end up doing some other stuff that was really, really good. But Oakland had lots of talent. That jamboree was great. That was awesome.
Absolutely, man. I remember being a fan watching the games at the jamboree and it being insane. Back then, it's probably the whole Oakland ages definitely 15 to 24 at the jamboree.
Oh yeah, everybody goes to the jamboree.
Everybody.
Everybody went to the jamboree. You remember the '90s though? Everybody went to the jamboree though.
Everybody, right? That was like the sports version of the festival at the lake. Like the jamboree.
Yeah. It was the strip indoors though. It was like driving down MacArthur indoors. Every school was there. Every school was there. Every cheerleader everybody was in one place at one time.
Absolutely.
And, it was all. And I remember Clint used to tell us, "We not running nothing. We not running none of our plays. I don't care what you do. Just run up and down the floor. And if you don't play defense, I'm snatching
you." Definitely, man. Hey, so Frank, after you finished up at St. Mary's, after you finished up at St. Mary's, you came back and began coaching at Fremont, man. Yeah. How was it into trying to develop Fremont into a program it was when you were there in the few years following that? How difficult was that?
It was hard. It was hard because the demographics were shifting, and it was tough. But I was a teacher there, so that was the cool part. So I was actually on campus. I was teaching history, and then later on, I became the boys' athletic director there. So that really gave me a little bit more freedom to, do the things we needed to do to be successful. But you going home, I loved it. I got a chance to go home. Some of the same teachers that taught me were, still there teaching and stuff. And, it was cool to come home. And, Clint had just got fired. I took the job right after Clint got fired. And it was like, okay, now I can pretty much build this however I want to build it. You know what I mean? And I was young. I think I was 24 when I got that job. That was my first head coaching job ever. I was an assistant at De La Salle the year before that. And I was an assistant at DVC before that. But this was my first head job. And I was lucky enough to have Tim Pierce. My God.
TP.
I was lucky enough. He was a sophomore. Lucky enough to have TP on the squad. And his dad, Henry, really helped me, learn how to manage the stuff I needed to manage and stuff, R.I.P. him.
Rest in peace to his dad, man. Rest in peace to his dad.
And the crazy thing is I tell Tim now, because Tim works out with my son, from time to time and stuff when he's in town. But it was like, me and Tim, I was a young coach. He was a young player. So we both was kind of figuring that thing out at the same time. And Tim was a monster.
Man, I was just leaving Arizona State when Tim got there. Right? When Tim got to Arizona State, I was just now leaving, and I'm excited. Whenever time some Oakland people was coming to Arizona State, I was excited. It's another Oaklander in here. They know it, man. So we had Tim Pierce came there, Jamal Hill that played at El Cerrito. He came down there too. So I was excited for them guys, man. And Tim Pierce, man, was a monster.
Tim was a monster. We played De La Salle back-to-back years while Tim was there. He had 37. That was the most points ever scored at De La Salle. And then the next year, he had 45 against them now.
Whoa.
You just clear it out and get a ball to Tim because Tim was going to work. But the OAL was really, really good. Like Allende Ibaka was at Oakland High at that time. And, Skyline had a roster. And Tech, of course, Tech was ridiculous. Tech had Leon and Deuce and Armando and they had a squad ticket and them. They had a really, really good team. DeMarche. I mean, every team in OAL had every team had at least one Division I player all the way through. And so those years was interesting, learning how to coach. And Tim was good.
So you was coaching on the fly pretty much, but how much of we not going to say Clint style. You call him crazy. We calling him crazy Clint. So how much of Clinton coaching style you had, and how much of it adapted was your own that you had to put together?
I think all people who coach, I think they all end up doing this. You just steal the stuff you like from every single coach you ever had. You know what I mean? You try to avoid the stuff that you didn't like about that coach. So I use a lot of Clint's tempo stuff. Clint was really, really good at figuring out how to press and trap people and rotate. Like his presses and stuff was ridiculous. I had him come to Moreau a couple years ago and talk to him about our presses and stuff, but his rotations is just ridiculous. So I took all of that, all of his zone trapping and man-to-man trapping in the half court, full court, and three-quarter court. I stole all of that from him. I didn't take the conditioning from him because I want to keep my job. And so I took that stuff. And I let and then but see, when I left him, I played for a guy named Ernie Kent at St. Mary's, who ended up being a coach at University of Oregon for like 12 years. And he was really, really good with X's and O's, man. Like quick hitters, stuff to give people the ball open whenever you want. So I stole all of that stuff. You know what I mean? My first coaching job ever was for Frank Alaco at De La Salle. He was like my mentor. He gave me my first gig ever in '99. And, I learned how to prepare from him. He'd get you on tape and break you all the way down. I never forget that. And I learned that from him. So, I stole like little gems from everybody I'd ever played for and stuff and tried to make my philosophy. So it's a little bit of all those guys.
Absolutely. So how many years did you do at Fremont before you moved on to Moreau?
I did 10 at Fremont. I did 9 at Fremont. So when I left, I was at De La Salle for a year, and I was at Diablo Valley College for like 6 months. That's when Clint got fired. So then I took the job at Fremont in 2001, and I stayed there till 2010. And then I left in 2010, got the job in Moreau, and been there since then. So I just finished my 10th year at Moreau this last year.
All right, so Frank, you now you moving over, you coaching at Moreau Catholic. How difficult what was your objective to try to build Moreau Catholic into what Fremont was in the mid '90s?
When we got to Moreau, the principal Lauren Leck at that time, who hired me, I remember in the interview she was kind of like, what would be a vision of Moreau? And I kind of told her, I'm like, look, there's not another private school between Bishop O'Dowd and St. Francis. That's like 60 miles of open space. If we can put a good program, you got the educational part already set up. You can get some good bodies in here and some kids that can compete, and we can really turn this into something special. And she bid on it. It was like, let's do it. And like I said, when we first got there, we couldn't go up with O'Dowd. They were getting all the players, so we were like, you know what? If we can get the second best player in every class, if we can get the third best player in every class, or maybe the second and the fifth best player in every class, we can compete. And that's what we did. And we started to get those guys, and we started to compete. We didn't really start beating people yet, but we were definitely competing. So I think we beat San Leandro once. We beat Hayward both times. We lost to, Bishop O'Dowd, of course, but we were knocking off teams. We beat Logan. We were knocking off teams that Moreau normally didn't knock off. And then we got to, I think it was 2014, we went after the big. We was like, okay, now we've been around for a couple of years. Let's go after the top guy. Let's see if, the top guys would want to come to Moreau. And, that class, Oscar Freyer, man, changed everything. Oscar Freyer came in. It was Oscar Freyer, Brandon Lawrence, Armand Simmons.
Milstead. Was that Milstead class? Was that
Milstead came in the next year.
Okay.
So it was Oscar. It was Terrell Brown. It was Brandon. It was Armand. That team, I had 7 freshmen on varsity. And I started 4 freshmen. They call them the Fab Four. And from that point on, changed everything. We were actually beating people with all freshmen. We got to the semifinals when they were freshmen. We lost to Jabari Bird and them at Salesian. And then the next year, Damari came in. Jules Milstead's son. And Damari was a monster. Anytime you have Damari and Oscar on the team, you're going to win a lot of games. But we brought in Damari the next year and Devin Molden that same year, and a couple other guys who were really, really good. And that's when the trajectory of the school just took off.
Now, when did Kyrie Walker, when was that?
That's what I'm saying. That was later. Like when Damari played in 4 straight North Coast Section Championship games, man. Wow. I mean, that was just unheard of, though. His freshman year all the way through, he played in 4 straight. He won 3 of the 4. The only time he lost was against O'Dowd when they had Ivan Rabb in Paris. That was they beat us at St. Mary's College. But, that was a good group. So that group went through. And then Damari was a senior the year that Kyrie came in as a freshman.
Okay.
And that year we went to the state championship too.
So you went to the state. Did you go to the state back-to-back at Moreau, or did y'all go?
It was a 2-year gap. It was a 2-year gap. Yeah, so we've been there for 10 years. We done won 5 North Coast section titles in that time. We lost to one O'Dowd, and we done won 2 NorCal finals, and then got to the state twice and lost both times. So we still trying to chase that. But you have Oscar and like I said, and Terrell Brown is really good, man. Terrell Brown's probably gonna play in the NBA. He played at New Mexico State the last couple of years. He's really, really good. And Damari Milstead is over at USF, and Oscar played at GCU, and Brandon played at St. John's. These ain't no bad schools, though.
No. Right.
Yeah, Terrell Brown leading his team in scoring in New Mexico State. And he went to the tournament and had a good game.
Went to the tournament last year. They had a tournament, and they lost to Auburn. Remember, he missed the free throws, and then he came back this year, went all big, whatever the league. I think it's the all WAC defensive team and stuff. So like I said, I was blessed to have those guys on the team. So when you got that kind of talent, you can let them loose and get after them. So they graduate and go on. So Damari's a senior, and then I get Kyrie, as a freshman. And at that point, he was the number 1 player in the country. So all that stuff that I did with Tim, all that stuff that I did with Oscar, all that stuff I did with Damari kind of prepared me to get this kind of kid. You know what I mean? Because the media was ridiculous with Kyrie. It was ridiculous.
And and another thing, Frank, this freshman class you just got it coming in this past season. That's a good freshman class as well that ever played with the Rebels AAU team.
Oh yeah, they played with the Rebels, and half of them played with the Rebels. Other half played with Mo's team that used to be PAL, the Clippers.
The Clippers.
The Clippers and the Rebels. So we brought in a very, very good freshman class. We had one guy who actually started for us for the first 5 or 6 games of the season. So we got the football guys back, and then a JV team was really, really good. So we should be good in the next couple of years. But when the Kyrie thing was crazy though. I mean, Sports Illustrated called us like as soon as he got on campus. We did the thing with Harrison Barnes at the school, and NBA Cares was following him around. It's just great.
14 years old.
14 years old, though. There was so much pressure on this kid, and people thought he was overrated. They were messing with him and stuff. And the one thing I'll say about him, he's a very good player. When the lights come on, dude shows up. We played against Bishop O'Dowd and Laney that year. Packed out, sold out. Laney, O'Dowd was the higher seed, and we ended up beating him, and he put on a show. As a freshman, he put on a show. And between him and Damari, they got us a state championship, and then we lost to that year. We lost to Esperanza that year in the state championship. But yes, I just been lucky enough to coach some good guys, man.
Man, Frank, that state championship is lingering over your head as a player. As 2 years as a coach, man, we got to get that Frank. We got to give Frank Knight the state championship. Man.
Hey, but why you deserving? Why you messing with me, man? Why would you?
It's well deserving. We got to give Frank the state championship, man.
Don't you know I go through this? This is the one thing saying. Don't you know? I mean, you know what I mean. I couldn't get it as a player twice. We tried to get it, and we got there as coaches twice and couldn't get it. And then my friends were like, at least you got there. Some coaches that never even got there. You done been in like 4 of them. I'm like, so what though? As a competitor.
I need mine. I need
the big California trophy, not the small one. I want the big one. I got 2 of the small ones. I want you want the big one. Because that kind of cements everything though, man. And that's what that's what we do it for. So
absolutely. Frank, as a high school basketball coach, and what a lot of basketball programs run into is coaches basketball being a one sport only athlete or a dual sport only. Do you run against any of them challenges with the football team over at Moreau?
No, we share players. I mean, we just straight up. When I got there and Cotter got there, I was like, look, Cotter, we can get some players in here, and a lot of them are going to be dual sport players, and they won't come if they think they have to play football or if they. So the good football players who play basketball, I wouldn't get them because they would have to play football. And all the good basketball players that play football, he wouldn't get them because I would make him play basketball. So we kind of agreed to just share them. Let's just try to get the best possible athletes in here and let's go with it. And the thing is, it's actually worked out good because a lot of kids who've come in who thought they were basketball players end up leaving with football scholarships. You know what I mean? Tight ends and wide receivers and stuff. Like Terrell Brown was a hell of a wide receiver. A lot of people don't know that. you know. But like Richard Hampton played basketball for me. He's on a football scholarship right now.
Richard Hampton was a big tight end dude, man. I remember him as a freshman. Like, hey Ken, he was in the weight room as a freshman because I right before you got there, Frank, I was coaching JV at Moreau.
Yeah.
And then I left to come coach. My son turned 5, and I wanted to go coach him at East Bay Warriors football, right? So I left Moreau because I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go coach the little kids. I'm gonna start down there. I wanted to coach the kid that was in my environment that I felt was slipping off, that needed that male guidance early. So I wanted to go back down and coach them. But man, I was in love with Richard Hampton, man. I'm like, hey, this kid can go. Richard
Hampton, he's on a football, and then Buddha. Buddha Eisen, who was one of our starting point guards on our team. Well, 2 guard because Damari was starting, and he's at Northern Colorado playing football, starting running back there, and Hadari's at San Jose State playing for San Jose State.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I mean, it was just a lot, and it's worked out. You know what I mean. You could possibly get a scholarship in hoop. If you play both sports, you could probably get one in football. You're probably gonna get one in either one. Because your grades will be solid and you're playing under 2 good coaches. So I think I don't want to say mastered that, but we've done a good job at getting those guys that play both sports. Because Buddha wouldn't be able to play basketball at De La Salle.
No.
You know what I mean? He could be playing football all the time.
And that's the great way to go, man. I think when you try to single sport an athlete, it kind of stifles their athletic growth. And I think a lot of programs are running into that hiccup, or a lot of kids is running into it to where they don't want to go to a school if they only got to play this one sport. So that's the pedigree we talk about in building a program, is letting the kids be kids, man, and play different sports, right?
Oh, trust me, we be on the sideline. Like, I'm on the sideline every football game. I don't miss a football game. And I be over there with my fingers crossed. Like, please don't. Please,
hey.
But the crazy thing is a lot of those guys end up being we have a kid now he started as the 4 for me this year, Caleb Elam Orbs, man. He's probably got about 27 Division I offers for football, and he went second team All-League in basketball. Just a monster. Outside linebacker, rebounds the ball. You got to be a little nuts to play outside linebacker, so he is, but really, really smart. Cal offered him, Stanford offered him, UCL. It's ridiculous, So the question is, will a kid like that continue to play basketball? And he's like, yeah, I love basketball. I'm going to come back and play. And the crazy thing is that his football, he got more scholarship offers during basketball season just off his athletic ability. Like, the football coach would come to the basketball game and be like, oh, hell yeah. This is ridiculous.
We'll teach him how to play We'll teach him how to play football.
This is ridiculous. And me and my sons were watching the draft, and a kid that got drafted for the Raiders, we played against him in Hawaii. The kid from Alabama, Ruggs, I think his name is.
Henry Ruggs.
We played in the basketball in Alabama in the championship of the Maui Classic when Oscar was a junior. We lost to him.
You saw his dunking? Did he dunk on anybody? Because he got some serious hops.
Yeah, stupid hops, though. And he wasn't really skilled. I mean, he could play. He was an athlete, but he had about 5 dunks that game. And when he got drafted, they started playing all his highlights from high school basketball. And me and my sons was like, dude, they're going to do the same thing for Caleb. When Caleb gets drafted, they're going to be playing Moreau, highlights of him in high school playing. Because really, if you can play both sports, especially if you can play basketball, football coach is lucky. You have good footwork, So, yeah, we try to do a good job with those multi-sports guys.
Hey, Frank, we got to ask you this. We asked every guest this, man. Who was the toughest player you had to play against in high school, other than Shea Cotton? We know Shea Cotton was up there with one of the toughest, but in the Bay Area, who was the toughest player?
It's too many. It's too. You don't want to disrespect your partners. It's way too many. I can give you some. Give us some.
Not the whole OAL roster.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Let's just keep it out the OAL then. Let me just separate from the OAL.
Jason, no, we know Michael Franklin. We go Michael Franklin.
Jason Kidd was a monster. I had to play him my freshman year. We already said Shea. Mike Bibby was tough. Paul Pierce was tough. Then when I got to St. Mary's College, Steve Nash was stupid. Steve Nash was really, really good, man. You couldn't play off him because he could shoot it. And if you got on him and fouled him, he never missed free throws. So it was kind of like you just had to let him do what he did and hope he missed kind of thing. He was really, really good. Jelani Gardner, who was at Pepperdine at the time, was a really tough guard, Tim Duncan was probably the best player I played against. We played them in the NC2A tournament in 97.
I remember that.
He was really, really good. I was amazed by how big and versatile he was. That boy could move, and he was like 7 foot. That shocked me. He was really good. Like I said, I don't want to just start – because I'm going to miss people, though. Matt Santangelo from Gonzaga was really good. Bakari Hendricks, who was at he was also at Gonzaga. He was really, really good. I mean, it was some good players, to play against as a player.
Frank's a coach now who's trying to get kids whose dads probably play. He got to stay. He probably trying to get one of the kids to come to Moreau, and the dad nah, you didn't list me as one of the tops.
Right. Hey, man, we respect it, Frank. We respect it. That list you said is like you named a couple of Hall of Famers on the ballot, so we can't deny that what they was, man.
When y'all put that list together, that's why I didn't even comment on it, man, because I already know. So no matter anytime you do those lists, you're gonna leave some people out, some feelings gonna get hurt. It just always happens. And I tell my kids too when they do the rankings, that's just somebody's opinion. It don't mean
opinion. That's all. It's opinion.
Right? It's just that's their opinion. What I mean? It is.
Absolutely, man. It's too bad it's 25 years later because, like, if it happened now, we gonna tell a kid, man, you better go get in the gym until they mention you, right? Too bad it's 25 years now, and I'm glad 24-hour fitness not open because they gonna try to give me the business. And next time they see
just to show you, just to let you know right now.
They gonna try to give me the business in 24-hour fitness, man.
Man. But yeah, I mean, y'all got a lot of the people. There were some people missing. Like I said, the OAL, I mean, it was just so many guys. Basketball has changed a lot in the Bay Area. Bay Area basketball was really, really good. That period of time that y'all tried to earmark, really good. The time right before that was really, really good too. So from like about 89, like when Gary and them was at Skyline, so from like 89 to like 2010, the Bay Area just had some really, really good players, man. Really good players. Aaron Gordon's and, I mean, just some really, really good players, man.
Yeah, because our list was just East Bay. We didn't even do San Francisco with Kenny and Lenny Walls, Luke Whitehead.
Oh, I got a Walls story, man. I went to college with Walls at St. Mary's, man. And this is before he went to Boston College, though.
Okay.
So he had took his first scholarship to St. Mary's back when St. Mary's had football. And Walls is my partner, him and his brother, Ken Bone, Lynn Bone, my folks, though.
Right.
They both went to St. Mary's with me. Anyway, so he's playing, I think he's playing at this point, he's playing free safety. And he's a freshman. He's starting at free safety. It's like the 6th game of the season. And he got more touchdowns than the whole team did.
Wow.
On defense.
Wow.
For picking and running it back. And it was just like ridiculous. It was like every game he'd have a pick six. Like every game. And it was clear that he was way better than, and I hate to say it because I'm a St. Mary's guy, but you could just tell he was better than he was gonna dominate. He's a freshman doing this. And then he went to Boston College, ended up playing, in the pros.
For the Denver Broncos. Ken, we got to get one of the Walls twins on, man. We need to get one of them on, Ken.
For sure.
We got to get one of them on.
Ken Bone.
I know we be doing the East Bay, man. We gonna have to go catch the San Francisco guys on, man.
Man, if we stretch it to the city, dog, man.
We got to, man. Because
it's really gonna be some hurt feelings because now that top 25. Gonna be about 6 names and and then we didn't even do Vallejo with Brandon Armstrong, Wesley Wilson, CC Sabat, all them dudes.
I think DeMarcus
Nelson.
Yeah, so we got to stretch at San Francisco because when we played sports, whenever we had them preseason games against the San Francisco team, you did not want to lose, right?
No,
you did not want to lose.
It was the only schools that would really play us, though. It kind of tells you that it was great, the preseason games, a lot, like you said, a lot of them was San Francisco team because they wasn't scared to play us.
Right. You had Balboa playing us, Galileo playing us. I watched Winter Patterson score what he scored 82 against Skyline.
I think he scored 87.
82. John Tar just sent me the newspaper clipping. Yeah. It was 82, and they scored 126 points.
Well, you remember Big What's name used to just rebound the ball and throw it the whole length of the court for layup.
Big D, yeah. But here's my thing, Ken, and I'm biased, man. If one person scored 82 points on you, man, I'm sorry. I can't put nobody on that team on the top 25 list because nobody played defense that game.
Hey, Winters was raw though. Like they had
82,
and Deep was raw too, man. They had some players. The city and Alphonse was really, really good too. They had some players, man.
Look, man, I'm not vouching for my hoop skills. Now I was decent, but I'm not. But what I'm saying is, I'm a foul you. I'm a hurt you. So 82. Come
82.
On, man.
82. Like I said, you really can't control it because they sat in that zone, and as soon as you shot, Winters and then would just release.
Yeah.
Because ain't nobody getting a rebound over Big. I'm blanking on his name. Right
I'm blanking on his name too. I mean, it's gonna come to me though.
Yeah, you're not gonna get a rebound over him. He was like 6'9" and 320 though. I mean, and he would just turn around and throw it to the course, layup city.
Okay, so when the shot go up, somebody get 82. I'm just saying 82. Ain't nobody never 82 piece me. That's all.
Hey, so that just means to say that's bad coaching. That's bad coaching because you're gonna have to hold somebody back. Like
hold them back, face guard,
get back.
Shot goes up, somebody just run back, don't offensive board, something.
You know what? And the crazy thing is that Chino Hills did that same kind of style with the Mello. With the Ball brothers there, and no one could stop them. And everybody knew what was about to happen. And them cats were still putting up. I think Melo put up 60 a couple times. So,
I think the most somebody scored on this. Because one name we do keep leaving off from the city is Demetrius Jackson or Johnson that went to UOP. He did an OAL tour and gave everybody 25 to 30.
Yeah. I mean, OEL was different back then, though. You're right. We would have been fouling people and stuff. I mean, some just brutal fouls. I done seen some fouls. I done seen some fouls that would probably get ejected for the rest of the year.
Right.
There was one foul at McClymonds one year when we was playing. They had to clear the gym. I mean, that's how bad the foul was.
Another Mac story. Another Mac story.
Mac. You better respect it. Hey, you better respect it. That's the one thing I like about the OAL, though, man. I mean, we love each other. When you're from Oakland, it's always, where you from, what school you went to, So we very territorial, you know what I mean? From the outside, we love each other, but on the inside, we be messing with each other.
Right.
At the Mac house, you already knew what was happening when you go down there, though, Cats is walking under the bucket telling you if you make free throws, you're going to have to see him after the game is over, man.
Man, that fool E. Cole, my senior year, that fool E. Cole was sitting on the bench. I mean, he had long gone, but he's sitting in the crowd on the first row, squirting a water gun on our offensive side of the floor. It took us like 5 possessions to figure it out. Everybody keep running to the corner, slipping and falling. Then somebody from the bench said, "Man, dude, keep shooting the water gun." I'm like, come on, Cole.
Hey, I just thought of one story I got to tell you about Clint. I'm not going to say the person's name because I don't want to embarrass him. He's my partner. He's one of my best friends. But
who's your best friend?
He's one of my best friends. I'm not going to say his name, though. Embarrassing. Anyway, I think we're playing against Pittsburgh. We're playing against Pittsburgh, at Pittsburgh. And Clint was infamous for pressing you when you up like 40, though. That's what he did, though, right? So we're up like 43 or 44 points, though, at Pittsburgh High School, and it's in the fourth quarter, and he got the starters in the game.
Just a
so it's massive disrespect, though. Like, we're like, check us out, Clint. This is wrong, man. So anyway, we're still playing. So my friend, who I'm not going to say his name, he still got his whole sweatsuit on. He ain't played 1 second yet. And we have 43 in the fourth quarter. So he starts bouncing in the bench, getting warm. Like, I'm about to get some action, know? We have 43. So Clint turns around and sees him bouncing, and he says, "Sit your ass down. You don't get in until we up 60. And I'm on the court, man. And I just turned. I think Jermaine Wilson was next to me, man. It was just, we couldn't. I'm like, this is wrong, man. I'm like, how is this grown man saying this to this man? and we kept coming to practice. We all kept coming to practice. It's like that was just Clint, though. He took no prisoners ever, though. None.
Every time we got up against Fremont at Fremont, somehow the scoreboard would go out.
Of course.
And then all of a sudden the official scorebook was. I'm like, bro, we was just up 10. How we now? It's a 1-point game. Y'all got the possession arrow. I was like, oh man,
that's that home court advantage, like Casamont, where the sun comes in. No, you can't even see.
Right.
You know, one end of the court, you shooting with the sun in your face.
Skyline had double rims.
Oh yeah, Skyline had double rims for sure.
Hey Frank, as a coach, who was the coach as a coach in all of these years you've been coaching, either at Fremont or Moreau Catholic? Who was the toughest opponent you had to play with as a player? Like you had the game plan for this player.
No, I don't know, man. I done coached against so many pros as a coach. I'm just trying, Alec, get that from Alec. I'm just trying to figure out who specifically would I say. I mean, it's so many. Like the kid Nico Mannion is at Arizona right now. We played against him. The kid Josh Christopher, who I think he's going to Arizona State. I think that's where he committed. We played against him. I have Malik Monk, who's in the NBA, played against him a couple times. I mean, it's too many good players to kind of. It's too many good players. I mean, just the ones that stand out in my head. Leon Poe was really hard to deal with. Dame Lillard, oh my goodness, he killed us in the championship at Laney one year. He was tough to deal with. And then when I got to Moreau, of course, Ivan Rabb was really, really tough to deal with. And it's just too many. It's too many to name. It's just too many good guys to name.
Ivan in Paris remind me a lot of Armando and Leon.
Oh yeah,
you know,
sure.
Remind me a lot of them, man. Like Armando gonna be able to penetrate whenever he want. Paris could penetrate whenever he want. You know, very similar styles, man.
And Josiah Turner from Sacramento. There's a bunch of really, really good players that you gotta try to figure out how you gonna, put them in back, because you're really not gonna stop no good player. And I learned that, if they're good, you're not gonna stop a good player. What you can do is make it hard on them. Make them get to their second or third thing that they do. Make them catch the ball a little bit further out. Rough them up a little bit. But you're just not gonna really stop no really, really good player.
Absolutely. So Frank, one of the things you mentioned earlier was about how it was a point where you like, you know what, we about to start going after these top players that's coming out of the AAU circuit or whatever they're coming out of. Yeah. What were some of the selling points you had to get these parents to persuade them to, hey, you know what, come to Moreau Catholic. Like, we need you at Moreau because, like you said earlier, everybody wanted to go to Bishop O'Dowd.
At that point, I was one of the few black coaches in the area at that point. Who Richie wasn't even a coach at O'Dowd at that point. He was an assistant. So that was a huge selling point, that we had, that it was a black coach. Our thing is that, when you look at the education from all the schools, they're pretty much the same, So our thing is everybody can't go to O'Dowd. You know what I mean? I mean, if you go to O'Dowd, that's a great decision for you. You probably gonna get the same education here and the same opportunity here as you would there. And some of those kids decide to go there, and some decide to come with us, and the ones that come with us have been pretty successful. Most of our kids have played, when they get to the college level, they're prepared, they're ready to rock and roll, But like I said, once we got Oscar, the rest of that kind of like fell in place. You know what I mean? Kids started to come. Like I said, the Richard Hamptons came, and I mean, even, we had a kid, Ryan Regner, football guy. Ryan Regner, quarterback, really, really good player. Really didn't play a lot of minutes, but he was really, really good. We would get those guys. So now, I had the AAU program going for a while, the Night Basketball Academy, and, between the Rebels, who I used to play for, and, Lillard now, we do a good job at just being an option. And that's all we tell the parents. Like, if your son was trying to decide, he has the right to decide wherever he wants to go. You know what I mean? We just want to be an option. We just want to be one of the teams that you sit down and say, hey, the education's great there, and he can learn how to play basketball at a high level and can move on and play at the college level.
one of the things we just had a guy on, Deshaun Freeman. That's your guy. We had D Free on, and he mentioned the AAU circuit. With you having your own AAU team and stuff like that, how different is the circuit now from when you were playing in it yourself?
Yeah, when I was playing in it, was only like 4 teams. You know, everybody has a team now, so that's a little bit different. You know, people just starting teams and coaching. You know what I mean? When I was coming up, I think, like I said, I played for Bushrod, the Rec Center. Before that, I played for Tassafaranga. Before that, I played for Stonehurst. It wasn't even no teams. You know, you just
neighborhood.
The coach, he snatched you up and played. You know, and then Melvin and them really got it going at the same time with the Soldiers, with Slam and Jam started going all at the same time, and that kind of changed up here, especially. It had been going on in L.A. way before that. Shay was telling me that I was going on way before that in L.A. People was getting paid, you know, back in the day. In LA, we had just finally caught up, you know, and now it's just ridiculous. Everybody has a team and everybody's playing, so it kind of makes it harder to get out and see, you know, multiple kids because everybody's playing on different teams and stuff. So I'm glad that the game has grown, though. You know, anytime you got more kids playing, it's awesome. But I would say it's probably now a little bit more watered down than when we played.
Definitely, and it's like that. It's like that in football too. I'm a youth football coach, and you see it's the 16s in Oakland. You know,
when I was young, it was just the Dynamites. That's it.
It was just the Dynamites, right?
So and if you knew somebody, you could play for the Crusaders. If you knew somebody,
right? Hey, the only thing is crazy. The only thing that's not watered down in youth sports is the baseball, right? Because we watch out Oakland Bay Roof. Frank, didn't your dad coach Oakland Bay Roof?
For years, man. And
Crowell.
Crowell. Hey, I laugh all the time, man. That was back when your parents made you play all the sports stuff.
Yeah.
Like we played baseball every year. My dad wouldn't even let me play basketball during baseball season. You had to play baseball.
Yeah.
And it was some athletes out there, man. Robert Sasser and them was out there, man. And Bob was out there. Bob Smith was out there. But like Tony and Amari Murphy was a monster.
Yeah, we're going to get him on.
Michael Knight, all in like baseball was ridiculous.
So
that's when I got my introduction to Frank Knight. I remember Frank and his dad, Crowell.
Crowell. That's what I remember. His dad, Crowell.
And I was okay at baseball. My dad made me play because he loved baseball. I was okay. I was a good athlete, but I was still one of the better players just because my athleticism. And the crazy thing is there was so many people that were way better than me. Like Michael Whitlock was just better than me in his sleep.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, you know, he was hitting it into the village almost every single game.
Yeah.
I'm like, these cats is great athletes, man. And Mike can play hoop too, which is great, you know.
Somebody said that on our list. Somebody said you forgot Michael Whitlock. I'm like, dude, Mike 94. We only want 95. Mike 94, man. Golly. I know Mike. I'm scared to do a baseball list, man. I don't even want that backlash in baseball.
I'd have to do shorter years where, 95, I'm not all that familiar. That's too old for me. But if we go like 97, 98, that's a little closer to my era. But baseball, 25, what, 9 people on the field?
Yeah, 9 people on the field.
Yeah, you got to go more than 25.
You got way more than 25.
Hey, I'm not even about to give myself the headache of trying to figure it out. I am cool. I don't want the controversy with the baseball list. So, man, but definitely
I remember when I kind of decided I wouldn't play baseball. I think I was 12. I was on the majors and stuff. They were putting together an all-star team. I was the last player to get cut on the all-star team. And my dad was coaching. That's crazy. I was the last player to get cut. And it was some really, really good players. Like some of the guys I just named, really, really good players. Like Tutu, good player, man. And a whole bunch of really good baseball players. And I remember saying, you know what? I like baseball, but this is not what this is not where my bread and butter going to be. You know what I mean? And I continue to play. I played for J&H 13s and stuff. Then I played for Allen Temple I played for Big Steve.
Big Steve Webster, rest in peace. Big Steve.
Down, baby. Down, baby.
Find one and send it, baby. Find one and send it.
I played for Big Steve 14 and 15, but I just kind of knew I was a basketball player playing baseball. You know what I mean? So at that point.
Hey, but that
team that team I got cut from, they won the World Series that year. They won the All-Star World Series.
Yeah.
The beauty about that is, man, kids play all sports. You know, it was all sports, and like I tell my son all the time, like I know everybody in Oakland because I played baseball first, and then played the other sports, right? So you knew everybody, and kids be missing that. You know, the basketball kids sometimes only play basketball, right? Only play basketball, and I'd be telling parents like, hey, you don't want them to at least go run track, at least go play wrestle or something. Try something different, you know. Definitely, man. So
in Oakland, by the time you're in the 6th grade, we knew all the top players in all the sports from all over Oakland, West Oakland, North, everywhere, because you played against them. You played against them in some form or fashion, playing something, though. Yeah. You know.
Well, shit, Greenman Field was a daycare center.
Oh, yeah.
your parents drop you off at 9. You go play Dome until your game.
Play Dome for a couple hours.
Till your game. Then you play your game. Go get some chili cheese nachos, some red vines. Then you go back and play Dome. And then your parents pick you up about 6, 7 o'clock. And nothing ever happened.
Hey, and Mr. Butler is still doing it.
Mr. Butler is still there.
His son is my assistant at Moreau, Terry Butler. They still doing it, man. They still trying to get out and build baseball, you know, for the youngsters in the community. It's tough for them, though. Yeah. You know, because a lot of kids don't want to play baseball. And it's sad because a lot of them are good athletes, and they would definitely get drafted. It's just, you know, they want to play football and they want to play hoop.
Man, Frank, before we let you go, man, we want to appreciate you for coming on, man. But I know you coaching at Moreau Catholic, man. This is the way you can put some of them highlights on your Instagram handle or something that we could check these out. Let the people see what we talking, see some of the stuff that you got going on.
Okay, for sure. I got some stuff. You know what I mean? I got some stuff. Between the coaches, you know, we mess with each other. So I got some stuff already in the pipeline waiting that we can really, you know, that we can get out just shows what we've been able to do though. But, you know, I'm enjoying what I'm doing, man. And I got one son that graduated from Moreau already. He's at University of Arizona. He's a pre-law kid there now. And I got another one that's a sophomore that's playing. So, I mean, you know, it's been cool, you know, just being able to do that, you know.
I'm so proud of your son getting his law degree, but when you said U of A, you kind of lost me right there. You kind of lost me with the U of A. I'm a Sun Devil myself, man.
Hey, you got to bear down, man. You got to bear down.
I'm a Sun Devil myself, man. But man, so proud of you, man. Proud of everything you got going with the basketball program and building Moreau Catholic into a powerhouse basketball school, man. Great job with that, Frank, man. Be looking forward to check out some games the next season coming up, man.
Sure. Hey, y'all hit me offline, man. I'll make sure y'all get tickets and stuff. Y'all ain't got to pay. Come in and see what we doing, man. Just trying to help the next generation of kids, man. Get out of here.
Oh, definitely, man. We'll be checking it out. Your nephew Isaiah and my son are best friends, so we definitely go come check out some games. Man.
Hey, people think I'm crazy though. If that class gets to Moreau, look out though. It's a bunch of them. Grissom's son is really good. Irshard is good. It's a bunch of them, man.
They all play on my football team. They all didn't play with me, man. So.
And I hate to talk about 4th and 5th graders, but my nephew's in the class, so I done looked at all.
Definitely got a great class, man. So Frank, man, appreciate you coming on, man. And we're gonna check in with you offline. All right. Hey, man, that was a dope interview with Frank, man. Okay, and man, that's a big one, man. Hearing the stories, man. Frank did go politically correct on us and not want to tell us who was the dogs of the OEL, man. I respect it, man. Are we putting Frank as the Mount Rushmore of Oakland basketball? Do he make your Mount Rushmore list?
I gotta put more thought into that. And then are we going Oakland only, OAL? You know, because GP, Jason Kidd, Dame. You know, it's like you know. Now it's only two more people.
But if we can't
J.R. Ryder.
We can't go Dame because we adding into his high school career. His NBA career. If we go high school,
we got it because it's like without the shot, do we put Frank in without that one shot?
He was first team All State.
He got to be on there then.
Hey, I got
first team All State. You got to be on there.
Before we leave here, Ken. After these interviews, I got to give a huge apology on the two not making our list. Robert Grissom, Was he on the list?
Nah, we missed that one.
Rob Grissom, Calvin Criddle, and Jules Milstead.
We missed those.
They should have been. Well, Jules was honorable mention, but them three should have been on the list, right? So
we humble enough to say we apologize.
Robert Grissom. Hold on, not everybody. Robert Grissom.
1.
Jules Milstead.
2.
And Calvin Criddle.
That's it.
That's it, man. So definitely, Ken, you can close us out now, man.